So I recently finished Stranger Things Season 5, and initially I thought it was an okay finale. I thought the season overall was pretty enjoyable, but the more I think about the finale and honestly the season overall, the more I start to dislike it. And before I explain why, I have to give a big fat spoiler warning. I'm going to be going over a lot of things that happened in this season, and if you haven't watched this season yet and you want to, click off this video right now because there's going to be massive spoilers in this video. You're still here? Alright, let's do this. Honestly, my main complaint is that nobody fucking dies. Genuinely, there is not a single death in the main cast. I'm not even kidding when I say this. The only person that dies is Vecna. That's it. That's the only person you actually see get killed. And I guess that one military dude who was a massive dickhead all throughout the season and I hated him. But other than that, no one in the main cast dies, which it doesn't make any sense why they didn't kill off anybody because in previous seasons, they have had absolutely no problem killing off beloved characters. Like, let's just go down the list. End of season 1, Elle died. Season 2, Bob dies, and everybody loved Bob. Like, he was such a likable character. I fucking loved him. And at the end of the season, or towards the end, he gets eaten alive by demo dogs, which, holy shit, that is such a horrific way to kill off such a beloved character. But anyway, season 3, Alexei died, and if you remember, everybody loved Alexei, and we're all super upset when he got killed off. And in season 4, they killed off Eddie, who was also a beloved character. But in season 5, no one dies. Like, what the fuck happened? Did the writers just decide to play it safe? Like, they didn't even kill off Mike's parents. I genuinely thought when that Demogorgon attacked Mike's mom and damn near killed her, I actually thought she was a goner. But nope, Karen somehow miraculously survives the attack, as well as Todd. And actually, you know what? We don't even see Todd for the rest of the season. I'm genuinely not even joking. From the moment Todd is attacked by the Demogorgon, we do not see him again until the graduation ceremony at the end. I could be wrong about that, and if I am, please correct me, but I genuinely do not remember seeing Todd for the majority of the season. In fact, Mike and Nancy don't even show that much concern for him because when the attack happens, they only go to visit their mom. They do not visit their dad in the hospital one time throughout this entire season. Like, for all they know, their dad could be fucking dead and they would have no idea because they spent all that time on the hospital visiting their mom because they wanted to know who Mr. Whatsit is. But knowing how this season is written and that the writers were too afraid to kill off any of the main characters, he was probably chilling at his house watching TV, cracking open a cold one. Like, again, you do not see him from the moment he got attacked up until the very end at the graduation. And don't even get me started on that fucking fake out death between Nancy and Jonathan. Holy shit, did that piss me off. Because when that scene was happening, I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to die, because that's what they were setting it up as. Since the white liquid or whatever it is was rising, Steve and Dustin couldn't get to them, and Nancy and Jonathan were getting some last minute confessions off their chest, and Jonathan did a whole unproposal thing, which I'll get into later. It seemed like a genuine death, and it would have honestly been really sad had they gone through with it, but nope, the fucking white liquid hardens and they come out a-okay. I just don't get why they were so afraid to kill off any of the main characters, especially since, again, in the past, they've had a very long track record of doing this. And you would think that since this is the final season, there would be some major character deaths in here. But I guess this season, they just decided to pump the brakes on that and kill off no one besides Vecna. But don't even get me started on the fact that they possibly did a fake out death with Elle and hinted that she could be alive. Like, are you fucking kidding me? When I saw that shit, I actually got out of my chair and was like, are you fucking serious right now? And that one especially infuriates me because for like 4 episodes, they were hinting at the fact that Elle was possibly going to kill herself to end the cycle. And then when it happened, when the writers actually committed to killing off a character this season, I guess at the last minute, they were like, oh shit, we actually shouldn't have done that, and came up with some last minute ass pull excuse explaining how she could possibly still be alive. The amount of fake out deaths this season was just insane and honestly got so annoying so fast. And the thing that really irritated me the most was that it sucked out a lot of the enjoyment that I was getting in this season because it made it really hard to actually get invested in the characters. Like, the stakes, it seemed like, were non-existent because you know the characters are going to be okay. You know everything is going to turn out fine. Everyone's going to live happily ever after, and there's going to be no long-lasting effects or consequences. And when it seems like a character actually is going to die, they somehow miraculously get saved at the last second, or turns out they actually weren't dying, like when Hopper shot Elle, and they baited us into thinking that Hopper actually did it, but nope, turns out it was actually just an illusion. Like, they honestly might as well bust out the fucking Dragon Balls and resurrect everyone that died in the show. Like, god damn, it pissed me off. And you know another thing that pissed me off, and this is more of a minor thing, but those sections or those 2 times where Max is just about to escape Vecna's memories, why the fuck does she just stand there? Like, bro, Vecna is right on your ass. Run. That may be the only chance you ever get to escape. The first time she did it, I was already heated because why the hell did she just like slowly walk and take her sweet ass time walking towards that gate? Like, if that was me, I would have sprinted towards that gate so fast, I would have made Usain Bolt look like dipshit Derek when he runs. But for whatever reason, Max just thought she had all the time in the world to walk towards the gate, and then surprise, surprise, it closes and now she's locked inside of Vecna's mind again. And especially the second time this happened, like Max just decided to have a whole 6-minute conversation with Holly. And I get it, she had to encourage Holly because she doesn't know what's on the other side. But honestly, she should have cut that Holly the heroic speech down to like 30 seconds because she doesn't know if that gate's about to close or not. So she should have just given her the short version of that speech and then have them both sprint instead of walking and then slowly run towards the gate, which they decide to do for some reason. Or Max could have given Holly that speech inside the cave where they were safe. I don't know, that's just a little thing that I thought about that also really irritated me. But the last thing I want to talk about is the finale because it feels so rushed and there are so many loose ends that the writers didn't tie up. For example, the Turnbow family is still in that barn. The main characters never let them go. Their house is mostly destroyed and still looks like something straight out of a Saw film. What happened to the military? Did they just pack up and leave after everything was done? Because there's no way the main characters shouldn't be in federal prison. They broke into a military facility. Even if they did save the world, they still did that, and Harper and Nancy killed a bunch of their guys. That is not something the US military would just let fly like that. But I guess the main cast has plot armor thicker than Emma Frost's thighs from Marvel Rivals because they were just able to get away with breaking numerous federal laws. And it's also super ironic that at the ending, when Max is talking about the ending of their last D&D campaign, she says that like it's super trite and generic and cheesy, everybody lives happily ever after, when the ending to the show is trite as fuck. But I honestly think that's just the writers being self-aware. Like, they probably put that in there being like, yeah, we know how generic and trite our ending is. But honestly, the ending wouldn't be as bad as it is if I didn't leave with more questions than answers. Like, that's the point of an ending, is to wrap up the story and answer most, if not all, the questions the audience has. Unless you're doing one of those ambiguous endings where it's left up to the audience. But with the final season of Stranger Things, that's clearly not the ending they were going for. So I'm honestly kind of left a bit disappointed that I have a lot of questions and most of them are not answered. Especially since this is the season where that should have happened. Like, usually with these kinds of shows, all the questions that the audience has been asking for however long the show's been going on get answered around the conclusion. Except in Stranger Things, apparently. But one last thing I want to briefly mention since I forgot to talk about it. The Jonathan and Nancy unproposal scene. Apparently, that was a breakup scene. The execution of that quote-unquote breakup was so fucking bad that I didn't even understand what the hell was even going on. Like, if that was supposed to be a breakup scene, why did Jonathan have a ring? Why did he want to give it to Nancy if he was just gonna break up with her? And apparently half the fan base was confused about that scene too, and it wasn't until like some other fans explained it that they were like, wait, what? That was a breakup? It's so weird how the writers chose to go about that scene because it's just so confusing. And I guess for me it was especially confusing because I completely forgot that Jonathan and Nancy were a thing because I didn't rewatch any of the seasons prior to season 5 coming out like a lot of other people did. So when that scene happened, I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, what do you mean unproposal? You're giving her a ring. It honestly gave so many mixed signals. No wonder half the fan base was confused about it. But yeah, those are just the main things that I don't like about this season. I'm sure there were more, but honestly, those are just the things I can name off the top of my head. If I had to rate Stranger Things season 5, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad season, but it's not really even good either. It's just kind of eh. And there were a lot of things that I did like about this season, like them deciding to make Vecna a full-on bad guy and not have him join the good guys and have them all defeat the Mind Flayer. I thought them going through Vecna's mind and showing his memories was really cool, and it was honestly a great way of them showcasing his backstory and how he became what he is. And Will having powers is actually pretty cool, and I like how they put a limit on it to where he has to be close to the hive mind in order to be able to use them, because if he could just use them whenever he wants, then it would be super overpowered, and honestly he would just be able to pretty much kill Vecna whenever, and the final mission where they're literally risking everything would be unnecessary. But them putting a limit on when he can use his powers was a very good decision, and also Will's powers are pretty sick, so I also like that. And of course I also really like the characters, with Dustin, Steve, Robin, and Hopper being my personal favorites. And there's plenty of other stuff I liked about this season, which really prevents me from saying that it's just bad overall. It's honestly just kind of a mixed bag, but I can see why a lot of people don't like it. And that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.